Hi there, I'm Katy Rose and welcome to the Rooted Reinvention, a podcast exploring the real-world journey of reinventing who we are without burning out or burning our whole life down. I teach people how to make lasting change by melding my Masters of Neuroscience and my Cognitive Therapy qualification with common self-help tools, spiritual concepts, and my personal experience. Because being yourself doesn't need to feel so damn hard. To get more information on podcast episodes, please visit rootedreinvention.com/podcast.
It is the last week of 2020, folks. Whew, we made it. Let's just take a minute for that, shall we? And breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Feel your shoulders relax. Breathe in again, and out again. Okay, now we're ready. Your normal podcast will now resume. As this year draws to a close, I'm still thinking a lot about plans for next year, resolutions, goals, what I want it to look like, how I want to feel, all of the stuff we've talked through the last couple of weeks. And if you are on my email list, then you've been receiving weekly prompts to kind of help you think about how to move forward and reinvent what your life looks like for 2021. And here in the UK, we have various tiers of lockdown in place. I'm not going to go into the politics of that and the possible supposed discussions they've had around lifting it so that we can all be with our family and then they'll all die in January. Moving on. Last week I had a conversation with someone and we were talking about her kind of reinvention, her rooted reinvention as it were. And I was kind of talking her through, sort of helping her think about what she wants things to look like in 2021. And we kind of had this conversation about when we're feeling lost, when we're feeling stuck, when we feel like things aren't right. So this is something that I hear about a lot, where people are very concerned that what if this isn't the right path? What if I take the wrong decision? And one of the things that I truly believe is that we can't make the wrong decision for us if we are listening to what we want, if we are envisioning our future, like we spoke about last week, if we are considering all the different kind of our values and what's important to us and what's going well in our current life and bringing it forward. And we kind of ended up having the conversation that what if there's nothing wrong with you? What if there's nothing wrong with me? What if the fact that I'm feeling a bit sad today is part of the process of feeling better tomorrow? What if spending a bit of time playing this video game that you might feel guilty about because you've got housework to do? What if this is what will replenish your energy so you can do the housework more efficiently this evening or tomorrow? What if the things you are doing right now are the correct path and are part of your process? Spoken before about kind of resistance and how it can a lot of people believe that that's a sign that you're doing the wrong thing or you're going down the wrong path. Whereas actually I would say that if you're getting resistance, it means you're pushing your comfort zone, it means that you're growing as a human being and therefore you're probably going in the right direction. And Tiffany Hahn, her podcast, Raise Your Hand, Say Yes, a couple of weeks ago, spoke a little bit about what is enough and who is defining what enough looks like for your day-to-day. I will link her episode down in the show notes. But those two conversations mixed with her podcast kind of got me thinking that when we're struggling, when we feel that things aren't going the way we want them to, or we aren't making progress as quickly as we'd like. I've heard that some people are trying to rush the end of 2020, like they want to get all the bad stuff done by the 31st of December, despite the fact that that's just a modern concept and time. I just wanted to kind of put a bit of a reflection out there that what if what you're doing right now or the struggle you're having right now is part of the process? So when a caterpillar creates chrysalis around it, the caterpillar itself disintegrates into a soup. Like it literally destroys itself and becomes liquid. And it is only through that disintegration that it can then rebuild itself, it can reinvent itself, if you like, as a butterfly. And then it is only pushing its, like almost crawling out of the chrysalis and pushing and fighting its way out the chrysalis, that blood is pumped into its wings so that it can fly. If you were to see a butterfly coming out of its chrysalis and you cut the chrysalis away very carefully, even if you don't catch the butterfly, the fact that it then isn't struggling means that its wings won't form properly and it won't be able to fly and it will die. And that's because it needs to struggle to build up the muscle, to get the blood circulating around the wings. And for those of you who have followed my journey for the last year, know that I actually described 2019 as becoming a soup. And my goal for 2020, was to turn from soup to butterfly. I think 2020 had other ideas, but never mind. There's always next year. When we are feeling that things are difficult, it's the one thing that I think keeps me kind of going, with that sense of hope and that sense of remembering that we as animals, human beings are a species of animal, and actually struggles are there for a reason. And I am not one of these people who believes that everything happens to us for a reason. I have to say I don't subscribe to that particular belief. But there are certainly concepts where I can think that if I'm just having a bit of a day, just having a bit of a cry, feeling really lethargic, I'll go back to bed for a nap in the middle of the day because it's a Saturday, whatever. And sometimes I get really frustrated. A lot of the time I get really frustrated with myself because I've got stuff to do, damn it. I want to be productive, I don't want to be sad, etc. But if I push through that and ignore it, all it does is it just gets stuck inside me. And thinking about how actually emotions are designed to move through us, like they're meant to come up and then be processed and then they dissipate. And thinking about the fact that struggle and things not going to plan is part of the plan. Like, we can't micromanage everything. Trust me, I've tried. We can't control everything in our life. It took me 30 years to learn. But that is reassuring to me, that when I have those moments of, but what if this is the wrong path? What if I choose the wrong word of the year? What if I don't? What if I choose resolutions and by the 4th of January I've fallen off the wagon? What if I don't succeed my goals? What if 2021's worse than 2020? But actually, the thing to remember is you have more control over your life than you realise. I'm not saying you control everything, because, again, tried that, doesn't work. But we have control over what we think about. We have control about how we perceive things. Not entirely, but to some extent. I'm not saying we can control those intrusive, invasive thoughts that we all have that are automatic, because we can't. But we can control what we do with them. We can think about how aware we are of them. We can choose to do things like meditation and journaling that will help us become more aware and be able to take more control over them. There are things that we feel we want to be really in control of. And I just think when you're having that doubt about, is this the right path? I've just been feeling like rubbish for 2 days, so this is clearly the wrong decision. What if this is part of the process? What if this is your right path? For those of you who are writers of fiction like me, you will have heard of the hero's journey, where the hero is tested multiple times and they usually have something called a dark night of the soul just before they decide, about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through the book or the movie, and they sort of say, I can't do this anymore, that's it, I'm done. And then something kind of sparks within them. And then they make the resolve that they are going to go defeat the baddie or conquer the fear or whatever the struggle they've been having is. And we are no different. The reason that these stories resonate with us is because this is how our brains work. This is how we work. So if you start the new year Friday, as it's going to be, and you feel what if, doubt, wrong path, query, question mark, backtracking, whatever negative words come up for you, I'd just like you to just pause, take a breath, and think, what if this were part of the process? Is this part of the process? If we have had a hell of a year, and if you need a couple of days at the beginning of the next year to process that, you are human. You are not wrong, you are not broken, you've not made the wrong decision, you're not lost. Like, this year has been tough for everyone on the globe. For once, actually, we are in this space so together. I have never felt more connected to human beings on the other side of the planet than I did this year. Because we have all, to our own different degrees, different ways, different scenarios, but we have all experienced a new level of anxiety, of doubt, of uncertainty for the future. Even New Zealand, where they've had no cases and managed it really well, they've still experienced the same roller coaster as us. And there are still going to be people living there who worry about it re-emerging. So we are all in this together with our concerns, with the stress it's put on, with the fact that we haven't been able to see people as much this year. It has been a stressful year, and it's okay to feel stressed by that. Cannot stress this enough, ha ha ha, pun intended. So I'm going to leave it here. I want to wish you a very happy New Year for those of you who celebrate New Year. My other half is working, so I will be sat on the sofa with my cats and probably some flavoured water, because why not? I hope that you are all safe and well. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to support me in the podcast, please share it with a friend and or leave a rating and review if you're enjoying it. Don't forget to check out the show notes where I will be linking to the things that I mentioned earlier today, and I will also link a little bit to the psychology around disintegration. I can't pronounce the guy's name, but I will put the links in the show notes, which are always at rootedreinvention.com/podcast. And I will speak to you again next year. Take care, everyone, and thanks again for listening. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and as always, you can find out more at rootedreinvention.com. Take care, remember you are more capable than you often realise, and I'll see you next time. Bye!